And welcome to Repurpose Live, where we help you to rethink your growth, your wellness, and your purpose to create a life that you love. I'm Lissa, and it's my mission to help women to have the health, the time, and the resources to do the things that you want to do and to say yes to the things that are most important. And it's my intention each and every week to introduce you to an amazing woman who can also help you with some of those priorities. So today I'm excited to introduce you to Linda Minnick. Now, Linda brings over 25 years of experience doing this. So I always like to joke and say you probably started at 10,
Yes.
but she's been working right with, that's why you look amazing. She's been working with individuals and organizations for all this time to help them do these things. Check out this list: to build dreams, to accelerate results, and to create fulfilling lives. Who right now is like, yes, I want that, right? And what I love is that Linda's specialty is to help others to unleash your superpower, and there's no cape required. Yay, that means all of us can do this. So Linda, welcome. Start by telling us a little bit about your journey. I'm sure you didn't wake up helping people unleash their superpower, at age 10. So how did you kind of get from, wherever that started to where you are today and how you're serving people?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm always excited to share what I've learned in efforts to hope other people possibly learn something else. And it started, I've known since I was young that I'm here to be of service. But, I grew up in a blue collar family, and my family were in restaurants. And so service literally was waiting tables or, doing that kind of thing. And so I had no idea that there is a larger scope to being of service. And so after, as we all go through jobs, I got into sales, which I really love, and was in sales for about 25 years. And what I found was, and in fact, in lots of my jobs, I'd end up in management. So I was a sales manager, and I found myself helping and teaching people how to sell. And I really loved helping these people step into their best sales self in order to create a better life for themselves, because there's no limit on income when you're on commission sales.
For sure.
So many of us.
It's like the best paying job in the world is to be in sales.
Yeah, if you can sell, you're get a job just about any time. And we all sell. But then in my early 50s, you're talking about repurposing yourself. I had a job. I had a 6-figure job. I was a successful person. My kids were all grown. I had a lovely home, and I hated my life. What is up? And what occurred to me were all those excuses I used not to step into my true self no longer held any water. His daughter had just left the nest. So there were no more kids to say, I can't, because I have too many, I do this stuff with my kids. And my husband and I had reached a point in our professional career where, life was good. So all those excuses I used not to be who I really wanted to be fell away. And I have to tell you, for over a year about getting out of the mold I had put myself in and really breaking through and starting something new. Because I knew what I wanted to do was I wanted to help other women specifically learn what I've learned. And so that's how that happened. And once I finally gave into spirit, and here I am.
Wow. I love that. And I think that you are not alone in getting to this certain place in life. Maybe for you, it was 50. For me, it was 40. Someone listening, it may be, 30, or just some significant event in life. And it makes you really stop and think about where you are and how you feel about it. Right. So what were some of the things that you didn't like about your life at that point of where you were?
Well, one of the things I didn't like was I had all the trappings that I thought I was supposed to have, and it wasn't fulfilling. And while I was of service to my clients, at that point I was selling HR services, I didn't feel I was making a real difference to the world, and that I was being called to make a difference. And even if it was just for one person, it was important, because every one person affects so many others. And so that
there's a ripple effect.
Yes. So I knew I had learned a lot in my coaching. I mean, whether, you're in sales or whatever, when you manage people and you train people, you learn how to communicate and you learn what's important to them. And I a long time ago that what I thought I created. And so it was time for me to take that to the next step. And so I did. I came out of the metaphysical closet and started teaching what I had been studying for over 20 years. And I'm never looking back. My life's never been so happy.
Wow. So this was all things that you'd been just doing on a personal level while you were doing your corporate career, and then decided, now I'm going to take this because of the impact it's made on you and teach that to other people. Is that right?
Right. I mean, like so many people who step into things like this, it's like, who am I to do this? You know, I to come out and help other people live their lives. What gives me the right to think that I can do it? And, you know, it was finally, I said, you know, if I don't do it, who will? For the people that are in my circles of influence. And
right.
I'm not perfect, but, you know, I know that I speak to some people that may not hear it from someone else. And that's important.
Yes. And I think that's so interesting because I think we self-sabotage. You know, we have, like you said, all these things inside of us. And as I've been really unpacking this whole topic of purpose and what it means to be repurposed, usually it's not like a sudden stop and then a sudden start. Usually there's something that's been building along the way, right? Maybe, and I was even just mentioning to somebody earlier that, you know, launching some of the things that I'm doing right now, like I've been preparing this for this for many years without even knowing about it, right? Without even knowing that this is what it was working towards. But then it came to that point where it was just very clear what that next step needed to be, which sounds exactly what you did, right? These are things that you already had going on, part of your journey. And then you then took that and now are serving and giving to other people.
I'm saying, and I'm sure what you're feeling is more of a fulfillment when you get up every morning, that you're making a larger contribution than you did before.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you get to this stage of life. Thank you. I think you get to this stage of life, and to you too, that we want to, I mean, that's what we start focusing on, right? Our 20s and 30s, it's more focused on the corporate ladder, the promotions, the income, the house, the kids, the vacations, you know, it's focused on a lot of those things that we've looked to as those markers of success, I think, you know, from growing up. But then I think we hit these later years and we really start thinking about legacy, right? We start thinking about impact. We start thinking about how is what little old me is doing going to make a bigger difference in this really big world out there. And, and maybe what is that little piece, you know, that I can start sharing and making a difference. So I love that. So if somebody's listening right now and they're just thinking, you know, I may be in a place where I don't absolutely love what I'm doing, or I'm not really quite sure what my superpower is and what that is inside of me. What might be some practical tips or lessons that you've learned along the way that you can share with our listeners to help them to start rethinking this in their own life?
Yeah. Well, you know, when we talk about the superpowers, the superpower is really just being who we are and allowing ourselves to do that. So some of the tips is pay attention to the way you're feeling and what you're saying, telling to yourself when you're doing things. I mean, when an opportunity comes, is it something you really love, or is it something you do out of obligation? You know, so many times I did things because I felt I had to, that it was expected of me. Those things don't make you happy. Super tip is to understand that you deserve to be happy. You know, lots of time, I know myself and lots of other people felt that it's greedy to want to really be happy. But what happens is when we step into our own happiness, we are a better person. We're a better person. We operate at a higher level of energy and we do better job. So pay attention to what is and isn't making you happy. And you don't have to totally change your life. You can do something small. Because what happens is happiness infiltrates all the other parts of your life. It's kind of like chocolate. You know, once you taste a good piece of chocolate, you don't want to go back to that inexpensive chocolate. You want that good chocolate. So once you find that you can be happy, oh, well, let me try it now in my work environment, or let me try it in my school environment, or where am I? And it's okay to build to what you really want to be. So pay attention to your, we call them your dis-ease, what makes you uncomfortable.
Okay.
The things you're longing. What are you longing for? You know, coming out of last year, there's a lot of dis-ease and a lot of longing going on. And the question is, What is it going to cost to do that? But what is the cost not to do it?
Mm, so true. And I love what you had to say too about happiness. I think
Yeah.
so often, especially as women, we think that it's being selfish, right? We think taking
yeah.
care of ourselves is being selfish. We think being happy is being selfish. And as I look at the amazing women that I want to be like, their happiness is contagious. Their happiness is being given away. Their happiness is not them going and sitting on that deserted island with their book and their hammock and just, soaking up the sun by themselves. It's how can you take this to pour into the lives of other people? So I think when it comes from a heart of truly wanting to serve and give, you're right. Everybody's going to get a whole much better you when you are not at disease. I like how you said that, right? When you are healthy and happy and doing all of that. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And stopping long enough to pay attention. And for me, it was stopping to ask the question, what do I like? Right. Because the mode that I was in was just that survival mom mode, right? My husband traveled a lot. My kids were, in school. We homeschooled some of that time. We moved away for some of that time. So it was just trying to get everybody from point A to point Z and make sure, nothing happened in between. And so I never really thought about what fulfilled me, what made me happy, what, since when did I get a choice? Right. So I like how you've talked about having really thinking about that. So that's beautiful.
And it's so easy to fill our calendars with obligations like that. So we don't have to listen to that little voice, to face it. Well, the truth is you face it now or later, you're going to face it, it's going to come up. And so, and you can't help others if you're depleted. You need to find something that feeds you. You need to find something that makes you happy. And many people are in situations that they've already committed themselves to some stuff, whether it's family or work or whatever, that you might not be able to change right now. But if you can find something good about that situation or something good that happened for you to get into, like the hours around that, again, it helps you. And like you said, I think we're all here to serve in one way or another. And it's not self-serving to be happy. It's not just self-serving. We do benefit from it. But the better we are, the better our product is.
That's so true.
You're into nutrition. Your dish is better when you have fresh food, right? Well, it's the same thing with our energy. If our energy is clean and healthy and uplifting, what comes out of us will be clean and healthy and uplifting.
I absolutely love that. And, it really does make a huge difference when we're taking care of ourselves and paying attention.
That's right.
So what is it that you love best about what you get to do, and how are you wanting to grow? I mean, I love the fact that you're not done growing. I can tell.
No.
How are you wanting to grow as you move forward?
I'd like to do more speaking. I really enjoy having conversations with people, whether it's one-on-one or in a group. And so I do some speaking for groups. I'd love to do some more of that. And of course, I'd always love to help more people. With my coaching, with my Psych-K, there's always opportunities to help people move past those limiting beliefs to get to where they want to be. And so that, and there's a book coming sometime. Part of me.
Oh, exciting.
Part of me says once you can write a book, that's better than what's out there. But no, there's a book coming sometime. There's going to be a story at some point.
I've heard somebody say there's a book in all of us. It's just whether or not we're willing to write pen to paper and actually put it into words. So that's exciting. So I really appreciate your time, your inspiration, just, what you've done in your own journey and how you're using this to help other women to be repurposed and to really rethink where they are and where they're going. So if somebody right now is listening and they would love to get in touch with you, where's the best place to find you? And I know you've got something that you wanted to offer to them as well. So tell us real quick about that.
Okay. Well, I'm offering a free discovery call, and it's 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending, dedicated just to the caller to talk about what they want to create, what's going on in their lives, how I might be of some service, maybe giving some suggestions right there or then. But it's free. You can go to my website, lindaminnick.com, and sign up for a discovery call. And I'd love to just have conversations with people and see if I can offer any suggestions or support, on how to go to the next step for them.
I love that. Thank you for being so generous with that. And we will put the link to Linda's website in the notes. So make sure that you go and check there and go check out what she has to offer and schedule a discovery call, because I like to say, you never know where a call is going to lead. You may have an aha moment. There may be something that maybe just you talking things out loud, you start to unpack some of those things, or getting that outside perspective from someone like Linda, right, can make such a big difference. So definitely go and check that out. I am offering something that is right in line with what Linda was talking about. And that's that whole idea of stopping and paying attention to where we are and where we want to grow. Because I think so often we're just going and doing, especially as women and as leaders and those of us who own businesses or are working or trying to run households, right? We're always doing and we're not really spending much time being. So I've put together a quick little journaling exercise that helps you to reflect and also to resolve about where you're going. And so I will put the link to that down in the comments as well, just to get some thoughts going. It might be good to look to do that before you hop on the call with Linda. So that way you've really paid attention to what some of those things look like for you. So thank you, Linda, so much for joining us today. I just really appreciate you taking the time and being here.
Well, thank you also, and thank you for what you're doing. I really admire you, and I think there are lots of women out there who are really grateful for you putting this information out.
Well, I feel like my gift is to get to introduce women to other women who can make a difference in their lives. So thank you for saying yes and being here today. And thank you to our listeners for listening today. I trust that this has added value for you. And if there's anything that we can do to help serve you, that's what we're here for, and would love to connect. So until next time, remember that you can live repurposed. Keep rethinking your priorities of growth, wellness, and purpose to create a life that you love. Talk soon, you guys.